I heard one of the politicians, actually it was Gladys Boschule, talking about the need, and you know she was talking on one of the Kenyan media channels, and she was talking about the need to, and this was actually Citizen, yeah? Yeah. She was talking about the need for Africans to trade with each other. It was sensitive because she went ahead and mentioned that people like Sankara and Nkrumah, who else did she mention? Lumumba were advocating for that kind of thing, and they had to go. And now you have also mentioned Gaddafi. Is there something about it?
Yeah, Jonah, the issue is that African leadership needs to become, should I say, firm with the issues. Africa has suffered because of leadership. Somebody said that on the creation time, apparently somebody was claiming that the devil came on Sunday and created African leaders when God was resting.
No, those are stories.
It's very but it's just a reflection of what people are thinking. Eh? It's very unfortunate that that this is where we have a problem. Yeah. And I want to thank Gladys Boschole for having come out and talk like that. But my question is, what can she do in Parliament? What can she do in her capacity as a person who is now a leader in the ruling party in the country? And what can she do for Africa? Because the question that is there is that if Africa were to unite and to organize itself, then we would be having the opportunity to engage as equals. Otherwise, everything that goes on, it's like Africa is always the other. And always we are asking, and our leaders are always like begging instead of basically becoming part of this discussion. So I hope that that's a different, now a new eyesight that they've gotten. I hope it's going to change things.
Now, something dangerous is cooking in Congo on the same. There's been the cry from the Congolese people that MONUC, actually now MONUSCO, has not been effective in bringing peace, you know, calming down the tensions between the warring factions in that country. And now they are pushing for MONUSCO to go. They are actually demonstrating. Yeah, and in the process, again, as they were demonstrating, several of them, many, were killed because they are pushing for this international force to be driven out of Congo. Don't you think this will lead Congo into a worse situation if the international peacekeeping force leaves Congo?
Jonah, the issue of international peacekeeping forces, and we have our Haiti issue coming in. We are going to take peacekeeping to Haiti. It's the same issue that is coming up. Anytime there's an occupying force, be it peacekeeping, be it
but any really other, it's not occupying, it's just
yeah, but you see, for the locals, it's usually like occupying forces, because you see the problem is that they can't really tell the difference between you coming to bring peace and you coming to take over things, because all the time that we have had these peacekeeping forces, even when UN has the rules, there have always been some mishap here and there. Some soldiers have taken advantage. Some people have done unquestionable things under these peacekeeping missions. And so the question is that that is probably what is coming up in Congo. And so the question must be, how do we allow the country itself to deal with its questions?
But then,
and finding a way to ensure that peace is brought in through discussions and through negotiation.
Now, you are talking about the country itself. Don't forget, Congo borders Rwanda. It borders Uganda. And these are very porous
volatile areas. Yeah.
Yeah. The argument from Rwanda and Uganda is that if you people, if President Tshisekedi or whoever was there before, was it another Lumumba or something?
Yeah.
The one was there before.
Not Lumumba, but I'm forgetting.
Kabila.
Yes.
Yeah, there was another Kabila. Joseph Kabila was there, and then now we have Tshisekedi. If you cannot take care of your borders, we are not going to allow your militia to enter our countries. That's why you find Rwanda and Uganda bringing in security at the borders. And of course, this security ends up again infiltrating into the Congo territory. So it means that MONUSCO being there is trying to some level to stabilize the borders so that we don't have international, you know,
Jonah,
regional clashes.
That is the official position.
Right.
But you know what Congo has? Congo has minerals and minerals. Congo has cobalt. Cobalt is what we are talking about when we are putting together the EV vehicles. And even the questions about AI and all these issues, cobalt is part of the equation. We have gold there, we have a lot of minerals in Congo. And so the question...
Don't forget a lot of timber.
Yeah, timber and all this, and you know, Belgian timber. John, the reality is that Congo is a case that has been made to become a basket case so that people can take advantage of what minerals it has. Any country in Africa that has minerals has had problems. Sierra Leone, we saw problems. South Africa, we saw problems. In the Niger right now, we are seeing problems. So really, the question of minerals in Africa has always been like a curse, Jonah. And so when people speak, Uganda speaks the way it's speaking, and Rwanda, we know that they are also having some issues that they need to tell us if it's they're speaking from both sides of the mouth.
But honestly, if you have a weak border, we had that case in Kenya where Somalia, we had to go into Somalia because the borders, Al-Shabaab was coming in, so that we stabilize that border. Don't you think that is the exact situation with Congo and Rwanda and Uganda?
Yeah, they could argue like that, but again, as I've told you, the issue of Congo has been that Congo is not going to be allowed to be stable. And the question about Congo has always continued and continues to be that people want something in Congo. And that thing will not be found. If Congo is stable, they will begin to charge you for you to get that thing, and you will have to pay a lot. So you want to go and get this thing, and you don't want a government there, so you end up having that problem. I hope that I'm wrong, but that has been an issue of study in a lot of peacekeeping issues, and
right.
You will find that that's one question that has always been asked. Why is Congo not becoming stable all these years, every year? Since I think 60s, it's because of the question. Sierra Leone, so the issues in Sierra Leone, the blood diamonds, you know the story. We saw the issues in Niger right now, and the Niger issue is now becoming an issue, and we have heard what French have been benefiting from there. It is about uranium and all that stuff.
And again, the other question now that you're talking about, the question is, why are African countries in debt?
Yeah,
with all the riches that you're talking about in Congo.
And it is what I'm saying, the indictment on leadership in Africa, because you see, Jonah, there is a lot of issues about leadership being installed in a lot of African countries for the reason that other people want to take advantage. And so it ends up having been a situation where you have the minerals.
Is it a philosophy of dependency versus independence?
I believe so. I believe you're right on that, because the question here we have in Kenya here, we have the question of titanium. We have the oil in Turkana, and you know the stories that have been going on there. The titanium issue is that we seem to be getting what the worth of that titanium, we get less than 5%. This is the issues that Africa is facing. And the leadership in Africa must really rise and come and deal with it. And if not, I keep saying that Africans as a people, as a population, must come and say no, and basically sort themselves out. I know that I'm saying something that might have a problem, because that we don't have the might of other countries. But
how did we get our first debt? Was it from the land, that Africans did not have land, money to buy the land from the settlers, so they had to be given debt to buy the land?
Those were some of the issues that started. And of course, you know, the government that we acquired is a colonial government, a colonial administration. So a colonial administration gives itself things from, easily gets debt from its mother country. And so when you come into power, you find that those debts are there and you have to pay them. Even now, when Ruto became president, he found debt that was procured by his predecessor. And even when this predecessor got into office, he found debt that was procured by his other predecessor. So you go into office and you find that those things that were done by others still you have to face them.
Honestly, will we break out of this? Will Kenya, now let's leave Africa alone, will Kenya ever come out of debt? Does America has debt?
They do have debt, but these are people who have debt that still they can service, and they know that they can service it because it helps something. Jonah, the question has to be production. That for me is a magic answer. We must produce, Jonah. And even the Bible says that if you don't produce, you are not supposed to eat, Jonah. Why would we have a country that wants to become a supermarket, that everything is produced in China and then it's sold in Kenya? That's the thing that we must ask ourselves how we are dealing with, Jonah. And those are the questions that we must deal with. When Gladys Boschole was talking about the question of trading together, it is about those kinds of things. Why must it be that there is a limit for you to sell things to other people? You have to sell to someone in the West. Why can't you sell to your neighbor? And those are some of the issues, the trade issues in these countries, okay, and the agreements on trade.
I don't know if we still have time, but you will alert me as we proceed. But
yeah,
we need to get here. We need to get back to the country and talk about where we are in terms of the national dialogue. Where are we?
Jonah, the national dialogue, you know our view as a Free Kenya on the national dialogue. We believe that it's supposed to be a broad-based dialogue. There's a court case that has gone on that is pushing for the national dialogue to be stopped. At the same time, the national dialogue has requested for an expansion.
Till when?
Until 26th of November, 1 more month.
Okay.
They have agreed on the question of selection of IBC. They've said from 7 to 9. Earlier they had 7 commissioners. Now they're going to have 9 for the selection panel. They are saying it's going to be broad-based. However, the question remains, what is the formula of finding this broad-based? What is broad-based? So those are questions that are still going on. They are refusing. They are very cagey with information on that. So Jonah, it's a win and take kind of a scenario there. We hope that they will understand what we've been saying all this time, and they need to bring Kenyans into this.
Okay, we were all wondering what was cooking in Bomas, and we need to get out for a break. When we come back, we continue from there.
Yeah.
This is Politics Today. Hapa tunachapa siasa. We have Nicholas Oyo, Secretary General Free Kenya Movement. My name is Jonah Simba. See you after the break.